Hello, Year 11. It's time for me to go through your exam preparation timetable and to explain how your lessons and how your preparation for exams will potentially look a little bit different over the coming weeks. Um, you should now have been given a copy of the timetable. Please keep it safe. It's really, really important that you know when you are needed in places and where you're going, particularly where it differs from your normal timetable. If you take a look at the page that's up on the screen, you'll see it's very colourful, and those colours mean different things. So you've got the key at the top, which shows you where all your exams are, where your pre-exam sessions, breakfasts, and so on. I would advise you, once you have listened to this video, to go through your timetable and highlight everything that applies to you. So highlight the exams and the subjects that you will take, and highlight the named sessions in those subjects as well. The important sort of overall thing that you need to be aware of is that up until half term, so up until Friday the 26th of May, you attend school all day, every day as normal. So you're in for form from 8:40 on site a little bit earlier, and you don't finish till 3:10 at the earliest, depending on what your exams look like. The timetable shows you sessions that are in addition to your normal lessons. So the way to think of it is you follow your normal day's timetable unless this plan tells you to go somewhere different, and I'll explain that in a second. After half term, so from Monday, I think it's the 5th of June, you've got it on your schedule. From that point on, you only need to come in where you have a relevant session. So again, we'll look at that in a second, but that is where you have a lesson that is normally timetabled, or you have an additional session. Essentially anything that is on this plan after half term, you must be in school for. If it's not on the plan, or the thing that's on the plan is not for you, then you don't need to come in, okay? So if you take a look at week one that's on the screen now, you can see that there are four different kinds of sessions. So you've got breakfast, which I'll explain a little bit to you in a second. You've got the exams in pink. You've got exam preparation sessions in blue. And then you have exam lunches in brown. So in terms of breakfast, the breakfasts are where you have a morning exam. So if you take Monday the 15th of May here, the first exam in the morning starting at 9:15, and we're getting you in there from 9 o'clock, is RE. If you do not do RE, you go to form as normal. Your room might change, and your teacher will let you know that, but you go to form as normal. But if you do have RE, then you go to the hub first thing in the morning. There will be staff in the hub from around 8 o'clock. So you are free to go to what would normally be breakfast club in the hub from 8 o'clock, but you are expected to be there from 8:40, just as you would for a normal lesson, for a normal form session. Your teachers will join you at some point in that session. There will be food for you so you can have a little bit to eat, because it's really good to keep yourself, really important to keep yourself fueled before your exams. And then your teachers will take you off into F block or into Lounge 11 for an opportunity for you to ask any last questions, for them to give you any last bits of guidance, to calm your nerves, and to just get you ready. And then your teachers will take you down to the exam room just after 9 o'clock, ready to get you seated and sorted, and for that exam to be going for 9:15. So those are the breakfasts. As I say, if you do not have an exam in that subject, then you go to form as normal with your normal teachers. The blue sessions are our exam prep sessions, and these are where you have sessions not immediately, well, some are immediately before an exam, but essentially anywhere except the breakfast. Where these sessions are listed, with the exception of science, most and possibly some maths, most of these will be different to your normal timetable. So if you take a look at Monday the 15th again as an example, period 4, there are exam prep sessions on for citizenship, IT, and drama. Now on a week A, Monday period 4, you would normally be in maths. So this is different to your normal timetabled session. If there is more than one subject showing like that, then you need to look at how they're numbered. And if they're numbered in order, then you attend the session that is relevant to you with the lowest number. So what I mean by that is this. If you look at that and you could say, okay, number 1 is citizenship. If you do citizenship, you must go to citizenship. If you don't, you then go to number 2. So number 2, IT, do I then do IT? If you do IT, but you don't do citizenship, then you go to IT. If you don't do IT and you don't do citizenship, then you look at number 3. Number 3 is drama. Do I do drama? If it's a yes, you go to drama. If not, and none of those subjects apply to you, then you go to your normal timetabled lesson, which in this case is maths. Okay, and that will be in your normal classrooms. And all of these blue sessions, unless there are rooms listed, so for example, you can see there IT will be in A26, B21, drama will be in C11. Unless the rooms are listed, you go to your normal classroom that you would have for that subject on a normal day. So in that session, it's citizenship. If you don't do that, you go to IT. If you don't do that, you go to drama. And if you don't do any of those, then you go to maths. Okay. The exam lunches, because we have quite a late lunch, if you are doing an exam in the afternoon, you will go and have your lunch break during period 5. This is only if you have an exam in the afternoon. Please do not go for early lunch if you do not have an exam in the afternoon. You go to your normal period 5 lesson. But the exam lunch is purely for those people who've got an exam in the afternoon. So you will have your lunch break during period 5. Your lunch break will be probably around half an hour, just over. Your subject teachers will be there with you. So again, it's an opportunity for them to answer any questions, to just calm your nerves and get you ready for going down. And then they will take you down to the exam room. So on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you will have your lunch at 12:30 till 1. And then just after 1 o'clock, your teachers will take you down to the exam room, ready for a 1:15 start. And that should mean that you're not finishing too late after the end of the school day. On a Tuesday, you go for your lunch at 12 o'clock, and then you will have a slightly longer lunch on a Tuesday, but then we will aim to get you down to the exam room around about 25 to 20 to 1, get a slightly earlier start, and get you ready for the afternoon. Just to repeat, please do not go for the lunch if you are not in that exam in the afternoon. It's really important that you go to your normal lesson. And then in the afternoon, you can see on that Monday, the citizenship, IT and drama exams. If you are not in any exams in that afternoon, you would go to your normal lessons. So if there's anything on the timetable, if there's nothing on the timetable that applies to you, so you're not in that exam, you're not in that named session, you go to your normal lesson for that period at that time, okay? And just a reminder, you need to be in school full time every day leading up to half term. Just take a look at the second page, which is the week prior to half term. The plan is exactly the same in the sense that you go to the named sessions, and where you don't have a named session, you go to your normal lesson. You will notice in the afternoon of Friday the 26th, that is going to be your leavers celebration. So you will go to lunch as normal, but we will have some things for you as part of our celebration on the farm and in Lounge 11. So you can go and get your lunch in the hub and take your food through to Lounge 11, or you can go straight there. We'll have some treats and some celebrations for you. And then period 6, you will go into F block with your form groups, where we will have your leavers film and look at some funny photos of you all and say our goodbyes. And then you can come back onto the farm for the last bit of the afternoon. So that'll be a really nice celebration for us all to say goodbye to you, mini goodbye, leading up to half term. Then you've got the half term holiday for a week. And then the final couple of weeks of the plan, this is where there is a slight change. So in these last 2 and a bit weeks, you only need to attend school if there is something on this plan that applies to you. So you will see that some of the sessions on this plan are when you have that session normally anyway. So if it is on here, you have to attend. If it's not on here, you don't need to come into school. So if we take Monday the 5th as an example, first thing Monday is the English language exam, so you should all be in school. You're in for the breakfast from 8:40 in the hub, like all the other breakfasts. Then your teachers will take you into F block for your final sessions. You'll then go and sit the English language 1 exam. Then you'll have break time, and if you do any of the subjects leading on from that, so periods 4, 5, 6, you will need to be in school for them. If you don't, you can go home. So period 4, if you do health and social, if you do French, or you do maths, so essentially that's everybody, then you will stay in school for period 4. And you can see there that numbering system again. So numbered 1 is health and social and French. So if you do those, you go to those subjects. If you don't do either of those, you go to number 2, which is maths. Again, no rooms. Then if you've got an exam in the afternoon, so health and social and French, you will then go to lunch period 5. If you don't do either of those exams, but you do any of the subjects listed in period 5, then you go to the period 5 session, which is Block A Spanish, Block A Geography, Block A History. Only Block A for those 3 classes at that point. After lunch, health and social and French have got the exam. And if you do Spanish, Geography, History, or RE in Block B, you will have a session that afternoon. So it might be that you have sessions periods 4, 5, and 6, and therefore you're in for the full day. It might be that you only have a session period 4 and then period 6. If that's the case, and you want to go home in between, that is fine. But if you would prefer to stay in school and go to your normal, if you prefer to stay in school to revise, then you would go to your normal year 11 subjects, and there will be teachers there to provide you with a space to work. And that applies then through the rest of the plan. So if the subject or the exam lunch or the breakfast is for a subject you sit, then you stay in school for that. And if it's not a subject that you sit, then you are free to go home if you wish. Last one to just to draw your attention to, if you take a look at Wednesday the 7th, just so you're really clear, in the sort of afternoon sessions, periods 5 and 6, period 5, there is a session for everybody who does geography, and that's the number 1 session. And number 2 is Spanish for everybody who does Spanish. If you do both, you go to geography because that's the number 1 session. Everybody else who does Spanish goes to Spanish, but then in the afternoon, there is a Spanish session for any of you who do both Spanish and geography. So if you do both, you'll have gone to geography period 5. So that means period 6, you would then go and get your Spanish session, so that you're not missing that lesson. So again, just look at where you have sessions, read the plan carefully. It's relatively self-explanatory. And I would highlight everywhere you need to be, particularly in those second weeks. As I said before, if the room isn't listed on the plan, then you go to your normal classroom. If you have any questions about this plan, in the first instance, ask your form tutor and ask your subject teachers, because they might well be able to answer it really quickly. But you are more than welcome to either email me or pop to my office or come me on the corridor with your plan, and let me know what it is that you're not understanding. If you're really, really struggling to get your head around it, if you email me and book a time, I'm quite happy to sit with you and go through to make sure that you understand where you're supposed to be and what you're doing. I hope that makes it as clear as possible. I hope the plan is clear. This is intended to be really supportive for you to make sure you get as much access to your teachers as possible. So please do make sure you are where you're supposed to be at the times you're supposed to be there, because that will be really helpful for us as well. Thank you for listening, Year 11. And as I said, give me a shout if you've got any questions.